Now, back in early January, On the Money could see that the cost of living crisis was building. This was before the war in Ukraine, of course, and the resulting spike in energy prices on global markets. But even then, inflation and household utility bills were heading sharply up. And that's why, on the 10th of January 2022, drum roll, On the Money launched the GBNews Scrap The VAT campaign on household fuel bills. If it matters to you, it matters to us, as I said at the time. And I've repeated my calls for Rishi Sunak to make this move here on The Money and elsewhere on GB News ever since. Now Sunak's under enormous pressure in this Tory leadership contest. And having resigned as Chancellor, helping to spark this leadership battle, he's trailing Liz Truss in the contest to attract the votes of Tory activists across the country, those who'll decide who gets the keys to number 10. Truss has put forward £30 billion worth of immediate tax cuts, including reversing Sunak's rise in national insurance and corporation tax. The former Chancellor, meanwhile, has maintained that tax cuts would be irresponsible. Until now. Responding to my original campaign, Sunak argued that scrapping the VAT on household utility bills would, quote, disproportionately benefit wealthier households. But that ignores the reality that poorer families pay a much higher share of their household income on energy, so a VAT cut would really help them. The former Chancellor has also argued that tax cuts are inflationary, making the cost of living crisis worse. Really? Making the price of a necessity cheaper by removing the VAT surely brings inflation down. VAT on fuel set at 5%. This coming October, fuel bills are expected to rocket to an average of more than £3,000 a year. So removing the VAT would save around £160. Rishi Sunak's already given £400 of assistance to help with household fuel bills, more for the most vulnerable. But for those struggling, scrapping the VAT as well would be more than welcome. On the Money salutes Sunak for changing his mind. But having placed the highest tax burden on Britain in 70 years and refusing tax cuts until now, the former Chancellor has probably blown his chances of the top job. But that's not to say he won't be in a future government and that this policy won't happen. We'll have to see. But meanwhile, the question remains. Is Rishi Sunak's VAT scrapping pledge too little, too late?